Hi, my name is Ashley Babb. I'm here to tell you about MyoBloom. Thank you for your interest. So we supply myofunctional therapists with the content, materials, and documents they need to set up and organize their business, their routines, their approach to therapy, and their collaboration with other providers. This is the Essentials Package Directory. So this is the DIY version of MyoBloom. Here you have directions on how to use the directory. You have your table of contents. So all of these are clickable. And then you have some bonus material over here on the right. So I'll show you, we can click on patient forms, and that takes us to this page. All the blue are the links for each of the forms. And then every page has a home button to get right back to the table of contents. And let's click therapy materials, and you'll see all these links are PDFs, links to Canva, or document links. And then at the end of every page is a yellow link to the Google Drive folder that houses all of those files as well. Let's take a look at the patient forms section. So I have these in my software. I currently use Simple Practice to send to patients for their initial appointment through the portal. There's new patient information, HIPAA, health history. The habit elimination questionnaire, I think, is a must to prepare parents for the details of the program, like the cost, and to be ready with prizes, that there's no big events happening in their lives. That way they are ready to start the program if the child agrees that they want to begin at the assessment appointment. The pre-assessment guides, they prepare the patient for the assessment appointment for the questions that we're going to ask, like where's your tongue position, what are your breathing habits, sleep habits, etc. Contracts, these are all informed consent contracts. They have the details of what Myo program entails, what they're agreeing to. It has everything from cancellation policies, refund policies, financial agreement, committing to a therapy program for the length of time it takes to get results. Contract add-ons, these are a list of add-ons that can be made as separate forms, or they can be added to the contract body that you're sending to everybody right off the bat. For instance, if you are seeing patients exclusively virtually, you might want to just add the telehealth consent form or portion to your contracts. And then last, we have the miscellaneous forms, like the release of records, photos, testimonials, and a form if someone wants to purchase a gift certificate. Next, we have clinician documentation. We have different assessment forms for adults and peds, which I'll show you an example of in just a moment. There are report templates, both short and extensive versions. That way you have access to whichever style you like. There's a one pager, and then the more extensive version is 6 pages. I have these note templates in my software. Session notes is what I use most often. It prompts me to enter the session number, if the session is directly pre or post-op, what exercises I'm prescribing, and any other notes or suggestions for the next visit. There is also notes in here for comprehensive, mid, and final assessments, and a note for adjunct services like release or surgery. The miscellaneous section has invoices and a web version phone memo, so that if somebody calls and they're giving you information, you can just pull up this form on your computer in front of you and type in the information that they're giving you, and then it sends it all right to your email, so it's in your inbox. I like doing this because I like to use email primarily, since that's where we're making appointments and using the patient portal and whatnot. And there is a link to a glossary. This is a publicly shared glossary of myo-related terms. I invite anyone to bookmark, use, and add to this so that we are all learning from each other and helping each other out. It's a great reference for us myo folks to have access to the current lingo. Here is the adult assessment form, so you can see what that looks like. On the front page, you've got all the patient info and health history. And on the back, you have tests, measurements, anatomical notes, functional notes, a list of photos and videos to be taken. So all the files like this have a link to alter them in Canva, or you can just use them as is. But that way you can make these customized just the way that you like to with your own protocols for assessing patients. All right, let's get into the fun stuff. Therapy materials, guides and handouts. There's a whole bunch of goodies in here. This is an at-home photo guide for littles. I like this to go out to all young children's parents to get photographs at home in case we don't get adequate ones at the assessment. This is an assessment report card for the patient to take home with some info about what was observed and what's recommended. This could potentially replace a standard report if you're not into writing reports. Foundation, this goes over the Myo basics. I do this with everybody who's starting a program. It talks about the spot, making sure you use a mirror and your checkoff sheet, and to make sure that you communicate if you're behind on exercises to make sure that they're really getting the full benefit of therapy. Spot options, if you or your patient like to deviate from the standard orthoelastic, and a nasal sleep hygiene sheet. Session sheets. Here is an example of a session sheet. So all these colorful dots right here are links to different colors and formats of these sheets. Here in this column, you have the different number of exercises that you could prescribe, and then the tab at the top of the box is how many days in between sessions. So this one here is 4 exercises over 14 days. When you click on this, you're going to use the Canva version, you can type all the information right in. So you can put in your patient name, the session number, the supplies being used at that appointment, the number of exercises you're going to prescribe, the length of time they're supposed to do them. And then there's 2 checkoff boxes for each active exercise. And then the passive exercise has 1 checkoff box per day. And then notes, if you want to say anything in particular, like watch your jaw lateralization. And then these here are prompts for the patient to make their own notes about the percentage of time they believe their tongue is up, how much they're breathing through their nose. And this says sleep notes, but this could be changed to TMD or anything in particular that you want your patients to be watching. Release documents. Here's functional frenuloplasty sheet. This is post-op instructions. This is not the exercises, but this talks about what to expect and how to manage the wound and pain. There's a version that's also frenectomy and another one that is including lip tie as well. I like to give these do's and don'ts well before the release appointment so that patients know not to make plans to travel or do any speaking engagements in the few days after the release happens. And it also tells them that if they want to order anything, they should do that ahead of time to make sure they have whatever supplies available to them at the time of the release. And that brings me to the shopping list. This is different foods, medicaments, pain management, things that they can purchase for post-op. The miscellaneous section has certificates of completion, has a gift certificate, and I even have a GIF template that I like to send to patients who complete a habit elimination program. They come into my office and we have a celebration where we put on silly hats and we take pictures. So after that's complete, I usually send this to them as a little cutie digital congratulations. And speaking of kids, we have these parent education sheets, 6 sheets for 6 mini myo sessions. At each session, I do some education with the patient and their parent about nasal hygiene, sleep hygiene. These are really helpful infographics for that. And then I have the habit elimination program. I give this guide to every parent who starts that program the day they start. Next, we have communications. Here are letters to release providers, orthodontists, ENTs, and several others. There are some different formats when applicable, like for dentists, if you need to communicate regarding mandibular advancement devices or night guards, there's different formats for those letters. There's an email response template that I'm going to show you on the next slide. And then the resource library we will also get to as well. The miscellaneous section here has logs for documenting communication with providers and with patients. This is a link to products, tutorials, and services and resources for patients. I use this to copy and paste into emails when I need to send this kind of information over to patients, and I tell them I'm going to send them links because you can copy and paste these items and put them right into your email body, and it will bring the link right with them. Again, these can all be altered in Canva to reflect the type of suggestions you're making to your patients. Here is the email template directory. So anything a patient emails you about, if it's a new patient, if it's a network provider, you can click and it has the title at the top and then subsections underneath it. So it's easy to just copy and paste. You can respond about making appointments, filling out forms in the portal, questions about fees and financing, scheduling releases, etc. And then we have the resource library. This is a Google Drive folder of articles, studies, and resources, everything from ties to tonsils to sleep. Here you can access supporting literature to share with patients and providers. Now on to networking and social media. Practice materials includes all kinds of templates. I have business cards, rack cards. There's brochures for myo, ortho, peds, and sleep disordered breathing. Provider supplies. We have a referral here. Self-screening questionnaires to give out to patients. There's a peds version of this as well. This is a double-sided explanation of what myo entails. And here is a dental chairside screening guide, which is great to bring to lunch and learns or to give to providers who are getting into airway health and they want to implement screening in their offices. We will get back to the social media workbook on the next slide. Miscellaneous has another log, but for communication with network providers. I use this frequently to track who I've called, visited, dropped off materials. And then we have this networking discussion compilation. This is talking points with collaborative providers, like how they can help our patients, how we can help their patients, different techniques, tools, and subjects. This gives you stuff to talk about when you reach out to these different professionals. It's a really helpful tool. Now here's the social media workbook. First section is a how-to. It touches on when the best times are to post, how to engage with your viewers, how to set up content calendar. This is a filled-in version of the content calendar. This one shows posting 3 times a week for 4 weeks. It has the dates, times, subject matter. These are all noted in each box. So if you or anyone you hire, if you choose to have someone else manage this, can fabricate a week or 2 weeks or 4 weeks worth of posts and even schedule them to post automatically when you'd like them to. Here's one of several brainstorming prompts to get the creative juices flowing. And here's ideas for different types of posts, like did you know or case studies. And if anybody is as nerdy as me, here is a list of potentially fun myo-related, quote, holidays sprinkled in with all the normal US holidays as well. This can inspire some social media posts as well. And then finally, we have the bonus section. Here you will get access to my Amazon shopping list for therapy, release, books, etc. My personal files includes a collection of the free resources you can find on the Breathe Institute and the Myo Munchie website. There's some sleep apnea resources in there as well. And then we have the resource library. This is here in the bonus section because it began as my own compilation of references. But as you recall, it's also listed in the networking and the communications sections, so it's easy to access if you're wanting to find supporting research to send to patients or providers. And there's also a collection of protocols for sleep, freedom assessment, and many more. You've got your stop bang, your snot test. One part of this access to my personal folder is this assessment reference, which I have laminated in my office, and I look to anytime I evaluate a new patient or get talking about specific muscles or nerves, or if I need to evaluate intermolar width for any specific age, anatomical terms. I want to point out that access to this is not part of the purchase of the directory, as these photos are Googled and for my personal use, so I do not have rights to reproduce or sell them. So everything that you just saw is part of the Essentials package. This directory is sent to you in an easy to navigate clickable PDF with access to all the files, folders, and links to customize the files or use them as they are. There are over 150 files in the directory. You get lifetime access to this, and you'll be able to see the updates to your files. The premium package is all of the content that you saw here, but customized for you with your practice info, your logo, and preferences. This service also includes entering the interactive forms into your software and other customizations like setting up your email with folders and tags and default signatures. The VIP package is all of that and more. This can be tailored to your needs, whatever they may be. It could be fabricating networking materials. I could create folders that you take to other providers when you're trying to collaborate. I can make practice merch, therapy kits, signage for your office, laminate guides for you to have for reference. So these custom-made items are all put together, packed up, and shipped to you. That way you can get rolling with your business with everything in place. And these have an option to upgrade as well. So if you decide to start with the Essentials package and you get in there and you say, hey, I'd really like to have this done for me, or I'm looking for something more than this, then you can certainly upgrade at any time. Then we have a la carte services. If you're looking specifically to have forms, networking materials, or therapy materials customized for you, you can buy just those portions. I call them file bundles. Also, MyoBloom can create basic professional websites established with sections such as services, FAQ, interactive contact forms. It would have your logo and your aesthetic preferences like color and theme. Thank you so much for your interest. If you are watching this in January 2025, here's a coupon that you can use for the rest of the month on any package, service, or file bundle. Follow me on social media for events, promotions, and my upcoming projects. The Myo Roundtable Study Group and the MyoBloom Grow series, where participants work on content projects for their own practices. I am MyoBloom on Facebook, MyoBloom _ on Instagram, and myobloom.com is our website where you can see all of the services, packages, and bundles listed. My email is ashley@myobloom.com if you have any questions for me. Thank you so much.